How old do you think she is?
She's 35.
35?
Yo, what?
She's 14.
I was on live with my boyfriend and someone was like, how old's your girlfriend? And John jokingly responds 47. And the girl comments, oh, I thought she was early 30s. I am 23.
I am 50 years old. I've decided to get a full facelift. I'm ecstatic with my results.
You're 19?
Yes.
You look older. That's not a compliment.
I just had a customer ask me if I have kids or grandkids. Do I look old enough to have grandkids to you?
It's okay to look your age. Look 35, look 40, look 50, look 62, look 101. Just look alive.
We're living in an era where guessing someone's age feels like taking a pop quiz you didn't study for. What used to be one of the most obvious visual traits about someone is now something you have to think long and hard about and probably get wrong. From young girls with baby teeth still growing in, wearing corsets, to older women smoothing out any signs of aging and dressing like they have weekend plans with the girls and not the grandkids. Somewhere along the way, the lines between who's becoming a woman and who's been one for decades is starting to blur. And now, womanhood doesn't come in phases, it comes with pressure. In today's video, we're diving into what happens when girlhood and womanhood stop being milestones and turn into one big identity crisis. Welcome to the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. Now, I'm not saying you have to subscribe. You're classy. I know you don't just give those away for free. But hopefully at the end of this video, we become bestie enough for you to take that next step. Now, before we get into the video, we talk a lot about how we present ourselves, but how we care for ourselves matters just as much. I'm someone who cares a lot about how I show up, from my outfits to my hair to the way I present myself. But even I've caught myself putting off basic things like doctor appointments. I've put them off because it can be a hassle, not knowing who takes my insurance, not knowing who I can trust, or being told the next appointment is months away. As I age on, there's only so much avoiding I can do, and I'm realizing that my health can't be an afterthought. That's when I discovered today's sponsor, ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, and you can filter for doctors through insurance, locations, specialties, and see reviews from verified patients to get the best, most convenient care for you. From mental health to dentistry, eye care, skincare, and everything in between. Plus, ZocDoc helps you get appointments fast, typically between 24 to 72 hours after booking, and you can even score same-day appointments. Stop waiting, stop guessing, and start getting the care that you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/Janae Danielle and book a top-rated doctor today. There was a time when women looked their age. And it wasn't insulting to say that, it was just a natural progression of life. Aging wasn't something to avoid, it was something you visually stepped into.
But before a girl becomes a woman, she will need to mature fully. She will need time to get used to all the changes in her body, in her feelings. It takes time to get through all the changes. It takes time.
Back in the olden days, being a young girl wasn't about status or style. It was mainly about simplicity and innocence. Girls wore blouses, long skirts that reached the ankles, maybe hairstyles with bows.
For school, choose comfortable, not too dressy clothes. Perhaps a skirt and a blouse to go with it. Yes, choose clothes that are suitable to your needs and situation.
There was no pressure to look older. Honestly, back then, if you were looking too grown, it was going to be corrected quickly.
Well, I don't see how things like that and posture and mannerisms and the other things will make a girl more popular if she's not pretty to begin with.
Sometimes I'd like to shake you girls when you worry so much about being pretty or not being pretty, as though prettiness were a woman's only attraction.
Now, looking back at the early 2000s, which is very nostalgic to me because that's the era that I grew up in, our mamas had us in jelly sandals, skirts, capri pants, those knitted poncho, Justice. You just had to be there.
Justice was specifically advertised as being just for girls. Varying shades of neon were not uncommon to see on a Justice floor, and at least half of just the neon clothes were usually covered in some kind of sequins or glitter.
From the barrettes to the silly bands or animal bracelets, whatever you called them growing up, there was an innocence in how we looked, how we moved, how the world seen us. We looked like girls that had a bedtime. Let's put it that way. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that kids today have to go back to puffed sleeves and knee socks. I just want to show you what girlhood looked like when it wasn't rushed. And just like how you could tell who the little girls were, you could also tell who the grown women were. From the way they dressed to the way they carried themselves, there was a very clear line between girlhood and womanhood.
She has changed the morality of a nation, without even being aware, perhaps, that she was doing it. She may be mother or movie queen, debutante or college teen, housewife or working girl. But whatever her title, she is the world's most varied, puzzling, and exciting creature, the American woman in the 20th century.
Whether it was the 1920s, 50s, or the early 2000s, grown women had a look. They weren't trying to relive their 20s or their younger years. They were actually stepping into womanhood on purpose, and they wanted everyone to know. Let's just put it this way, you knew who was paying the bills and who was still asking for permission to go play outside. But that telltale didn't last forever. And before we knew it, that clear separation between girl and woman wasn't so clear anymore.
Usually I look at a woman and can tell if they're over or under 21 or 25, but after today, yeah, I'm asking all of them their age. I seen this girl today while I was working. She looked like around 25-ish to 28-ish. The way she was speaking to me was kind of youngish. So I just asked her, how old you are? She's like, oh, I'm 19.
Something strange started happening. That visual timeline that used to guide society back in the day, yeah, it disappeared. And what replaced it is this weird middle ground where everyone's trying to look like they're in that 20-something age bracket, even if they're 13 or 53.
And yes, it's only 8th grade prom and she's only 13, but literally it's go big or go home, like I said.
Somewhere along the way, girlhood started skipping some steps. That age of awkward phases, braces, and childhood innocence is starting to be replaced with makeup tutorials or get ready with me's, crop tops, 10-step skincare routines with retinol involved.
It's a tale as old as time that young girls have always wanted to act more mature than their age. They've always wanted to be seen as adults. That's nothing new. But what we're seeing now that we haven't seen before is that they're actually succeeding. Think of magazines like J14 back in the day. When these girls would try and look more mature, they would wear the makeup and they would do the hair and they would wear the clothes that they thought adult women were wearing and looking like. But honestly, it looked like child's play of being older. But more and more, we're seeing these girls successfully enter these spaces of looking like grown women. These girls have the skincare routines, the makeup, the hair, the clothes, and it genuinely has gotten to a point where you cannot tell what their age is.
From the glam to the clothes to the way they pose on social media, none of it reflects girlhood.
There's no tween stage of life anymore. Once you turn like 10, 11, 12, you start jumping and doing stuff that you do like at 17, 18 because there's no gap in between, because everybody forgot about the fact that kids are children even as teenagers.
We could look at Northwest, who's been seen in corset tops, mini skirts at the developing age of 12.
I'm going to say this is inappropriate. Are you kidding me? A 12-year-old with a corset on, accentuating her breasts, that's inappropriate. And if you don't think so, you wouldn't be able to be around my kids. And I don't want to hear the argument like, oh, she has breasts, they're going to show anyway. Yes, that's natural, that's normal. But to accentuate them if she's 12 years old and boost them up, that is insane. No, this is inappropriate.
I don't see the problem. Am I too cool? Why is people finding an issue with what this girl is wearing? It's very age appropriate. She's like, what, 12, 13? Who's not going to want to have mermaid colored hair? The outfit is very age appropriate to me. The both of them. The skirt, appropriate length. Like, it's cute. This is the trend and styles of this day and age.
Anyone born before the year 2000 can tell you They were not dressing like that at 12. And I want to be clear, this isn't about shaming these young girls. If anything, maybe we should be side-eyeing the parents. But we're talking about how being a little girl is being redefined before our eyes. We're seeing middle schoolers or young girls overall in bodycon dresses, full faces of makeup, and grown women attitudes, not because they're fast, but because this is their standard now.
You're in 8th grade wearing them big old granny panty lashes and then big old...
You're a hater. Not my fault. Your daughter's a baddie and she wants to get baddie for school. She wants to be a baddie for school.
I mean, we're even seeing parents dressing their toddlers like they're going to a nightclub. I'll probably have to make a whole separate video on that. We're not even going to get into that today. Social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram have made it nearly impossible to be able to tell a lot of these young girls' age, which, if you ask me, is dangerous.
So I just got home from going out, and one of the guys that was at the table, he asked me, "How old are you? You look pretty young." And at first I laughed. I thought he was just being nice. I'm 33 years old. But then it dawned on me, and I took a look around, and all the girls that were at our table looked my age. I could tell that they were younger than me because of what they were wearing, how they spoke, they were dancing, the way they were drinking. No wonder this guy thinks I'm young, because the young girls look older and look my age.
Especially with the use of filtering and editing apps. You can smooth out every wrinkle, blur every pore, enhance every angle of your body until age becomes less of a given and more of a guess.
Social media literally grooms young girls into looking and acting much older than their real age. You have all of these filters and apps that make you look older and have more sex appeal. We need to be doing more in terms of teaching kids and teaching young girls who they want online attention from and in what way and how that's going to affect them and their mental health.
Social media has made being desirable and sexy such an important factor of life that a lot of the youngins think they need to partake in it.
So I went on Facebook today and I seen this. She overly played with that long ass skirt. What's wrong with her outfit? She looks age appropriate. She looks like her age. She dresses like her age. That's the problem with this younger generation. They want to grow up so fast. They want to look like these Instagram models. But that's the thing. You don't have to do that. You don't have to look older.
But on the flip side, we're seeing women who are well into adulthood, mid-30s, early 50s, dressing, styling, and filtering themselves like they just graduated college.
I'm 40. And someone recently told me that I didn't dress my age and I didn't look my age. What's a 40-year-old supposed to look like? What does a 40-year-old dress like?
Why are we taking teenagers' aesthetic, schoolgirl skirts with our cheeks hanging out, or bubble skirts, putting it on grown women's bodies, and then when teenagers take their own aesthetic back, we telling them they too grown? Maybe you're too childish. Grow the f up.
We can all come to terms and agree that dressing stylish and fresh does not mean you're afraid of aging. I'm not saying that all 50-year-olds need to be in rocking chairs, okay? But there has been a complete mismatch between aging gracefully and denying that you're aging at all.
I believe more than fixing anything is preventing. Once you get the wrinkle, once you get the sagging neck, that's it. No, there's no cream that is going to fix you.
Let's shine a light on Kris Jenner, who I believe has been refusing to show signs of aging at all. I don't know what her beef is with aging gracefully, but Miss Ma'am is at war.
Kris Jenner is looking 25 again, and people are wondering, what is her secret? This was literally like 2 to 3 years ago, and this is 2025. She needs to really spill the tea on her doctor, because she'll save a lot of lives.
And it's not just a little Botox, a little filler here and there. It's the kind of work that reshapes how you age naturally altogether. She isn't the only one. This mindset is everywhere. More and more we're seeing women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s adopting this youthful aesthetic.
I do not think a 47-year-old woman should be conducting and behaving and dressing the same way as an 18-year-old. There's no distinction between being more seasoned, older woman versus a teenage young girl, and that's the problem.
If we want to play enemy's advocate, they're probably doing it for survival. Because we live in a culture that constantly ties a woman's worth to her youth.
Introducing the Aileron age-defying system. The advanced formula is clinically proven to tone, tighten, and hydrate skin for a more youthful appearance.
My skin has never looked better. Not only do I look younger, I feel younger.
And there's this growing fear that once you look your age, people start treating you like it.
This morning at the gym, I overheard a couple of young women, no older than 30, talking about their Botox treatments. I was curious, and so I asked, why in the world would any of y'all need Botox? You're gorgeous. And one of them replied, it's preventative. We want to avoid wrinkles. I couldn't leave it at that, and I had to ask, what's wrong with wrinkles? After an awkward silence, one of them finally said, we just don't want to look old. At that moment, I have never felt more invisible or unseen in my life. I realized that I represented everything that these women don't want to become.
So what a lot of women feel like they may have to do is compete for that spot. They're buying the same products, wearing the same clothes, doing the same TikTok dances, just to feel seen and stay relevant.
Is there anyone else out there in their 40s like me who feels kind of invisible? Like, I'm not as cute as I was in my 20s and 30s. I'm definitely not as fit as I was. Also, I feel like there needs to be this whole revolution of women like us on social media to prove to everyone that we're still here and we're still valid and we're still relevant.
And just like the young girls that are looking up to celebrities and influencers, these older women are doing the same thing. Think about women like Madonna or Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Lopez, women who don't really look their age. It makes it harder for a lot of women who don't have access to these products or maybe procedures that these older celebrities can get, and they start losing the grasp on what real aging is supposed to look like.
I love Jennifer Lopez. I think she's an extremely beautiful woman, regardless of her age. She's 53, but she doesn't look like this. This is such a highly retouched photo. It's sending the wrong message to women who truly don't look like that. We're still like in this very old era, having to present to the world that we are still 25 when we're not.
Aging is supposed to be this beautiful, natural process that every woman goes through in life, but somehow it's become a threat to your relevance. And this is when it all started to hit me, okay? This is my theory. Age identity is starting to disappear altogether. Somewhere along the line, we stopped acting our age because we stopped knowing what our age even looks like anymore.
All right, so basically I have this theory that nobody knows what a 30-year-old person looks like. Because we've all seen the trend of someone who's usually in like their late 20s or early 30s posting a video of how old do I look? I'm really curious, can't hurt my feelings. And then I look down in the comments and it's mostly like one of two things. It's people being like, you look 45, you old you, old. Or it's people like, oh my God, you don't look like you're on the brink of death and you have good skin. I would never have guessed you were a day over 17.
Let's say you're 25 and you see a 16-year-old girl online that looks like you, speaks like you, wears the same clothes as you, has the same makeup routine as you. How are you supposed to feel grown? If a 16-year-old can do it, what am I doing? What stage am I supposed to be at if that 16-year-old is already there?
I don't know why, but I don't feel or look like I'm 21. I be seeing girls, they be either younger than me or they be the same age and they look grown and sexy. It's low-key irritating. I don't want to rush my aging, but I'm ready to start looking like grown and sexy.
What's happening right now isn't just about how people dress, how they do their hair or their makeup. It's deeper than that. It's about how age stopped being something we live through and instead started being something we perform. People no longer visually show their age. And when that becomes the norm, it's not just confusing, it's unsettling. Because if nobody looks their age, how do we understand what age means?
I think I have age dysmorphia. Like, you know how people have body dysmorphia where you don't know what you look like? I think I have it with like age. I see people and I'm like, oh, they have to be like well in their 40s. And then I find out they're my exact age and I'm so confused. I don't want to be delusional. I want to be aware of what I look like.
And the scariest part isn't the transformation, it's the fact that no one seems to know where the line is anymore. Where does childhood end? Where does womanhood begin? And if this continues, if every generation starts trying to be like the generation ahead of them or behind them, we're gonna lose those little signs that show us who's still growing up and who's already grown. And that is dangerous.